I found myself angry this morning, angry about the catastrophe that we have in this country, a Joe Biden presidency. It's worse than anyone could have imagined. Who's responsible? A lot of people are responsible, a lot of institutions, certainly the fake news, which bent over backwards to protect him, and even a good chunk of the so-called conservative media. Yeah, like Fox News. Thanks for nothing. They were terrible during the campaign. They were horrendous on election night, and they're still bad. They're still bad. Now, Jen Psaki, there's no greater liar other than Joe Biden in the government. I mean, we all see it, what a terrible job she's doing, and the lack of respect that she seems to have for the American people. And her recent comments, soft on crime, what do you mean by that? So, not too long ago, she was on Fox News. It was in the morning, and they kept teasing it all morning long. Jen Psaki's coming up. And like a fool, I stuck around because I wanted to see the fireworks, because there are a lot of questions to pose to her. Here's what happened.
Great to have you, and we have so much to cover with you. I want to start with the voting rules.
Good morning to you, Jen. By the way, it's hard to find two Bengal fans in the same room.
That's right.
And we've done it.
Can I join the party?
Big game this weekend. Big game on Saturday. Go
big
Bengals.
We'll
be all playing that. And hopefully there will be no breaking news that you have to deal with, Jen, during the Bengals game. We will try to protect you from that.
Thanks for being here. When
the president looks at his watch and says, I guess I'll go another 24 minutes. I'm curious what your exact heart rate was at that time.
I'm a pretty chill person in general. I may not always seem that way in the briefing room, and that's what he's used to. So
Jen,
I knew he was having a good time.
Well, I was having a heart attack for you.
Thank you for being here today. Please come back. We'll do it more often.
Good luck to the Bengals, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
A job interview? Maybe it was. What was that? Now, I actually don't blame Perino and Hemmer. Nice people, good at what they do, usually. They have bosses, all right? They have bosses. And you know who one of their bosses is? Rhino Paul Ryan, former Speaker of the House, former running mate to Mitt Romney. Yeah, Paul Ryan is on the board of News Corp, gets hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and by all accounts has a major, major impact on how Fox News views the world, covers the world, how they might treat somebody like Jen Psaki. Now, Paul Ryan, I remember him primarily for, let's face it, tripping up or trying to trip up Donald Trump. He let everybody know in big ways and small that he did not like the president. And that was really, really sad. I was actually kind of pleased when Paul Ryan decided to pack it in. The fake news was excited. I didn't realize, though, how excited Paul Ryan was. I'll get to that in a moment. But first, here he is on the way out.
An unexpected announcement rocks Washington this morning. Speaker Paul Ryan will not seek re-election.
The House Speaker Paul Ryan announces he will not seek re-election. Another reminder of the difficult midterm environment for Republicans and of the dramatic evolution of the GOP under President Trump.
All right, so he's out. Or is he out? I went to his Twitter page today. Take a look at this. It's got millions of followers. Good for him. And look at what his bio is, okay? A little bit closer, please. Office of the 54th Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. Well, he's been out for 4 years. Why does it still say office? Because he takes it with him, okay? He's selling what the American people gave him, the speakership, through our representatives. He's selling his office. That's what he does. That's what they all do. And when you're the speaker, wow, you can do very, very well. Former speaker, I don't think it matters that much. Everybody was estimating he's going to make a lot of money. A guy that young who ran with, look at this, the kind of board that he would go after would probably pay between $250,000 and $300,000 a year, and he could probably get 3 or 4 of them. He's got about 1 million other business interests as well. And of course, there is Fox News. He is on the board of Fox News. And a lot of us think that we see his handiwork all over what they put out on air. And that's really, really unfortunate for a place that's supposed to be fair and balanced. A little bit more on Fox. Remember Jim Acosta, that idiotic blowhard from CNN? I mean, really, they don't get any worse than this guy. And remember when he pushed that White House aide? He was giving it to Donald Trump. It was time for him to relinquish the mic. He wouldn't. He shoved her. It was a bad, bad moment. And they suspended his White House credentials for 2 days or something like that. No big deal. It doesn't infringe on anybody's First Amendment right. You don't have a right to access the White House grounds, certainly not after you pushed a White House reporter. Anyway, the media went nuts, and Jim Acosta was reissued his press pass, and I couldn't believe it. They treated him like he was the president. Look at this. And look at how self-righteous and pompous the guy is. Take a look.
I'm very grateful for what happened today, and grateful for my colleagues in the press who stood by us through all of this. This was a test, and I think we passed the test. Journalists need to know that in this country, their First Amendment rights, freedom of the press, are sacred.
A total joke. When you push a White House aide, you don't have to be let back into the White House, but the whole swamp stood up for this guy, including Fox News. This is when they totally lost it. Fox News stands with CNN. Passes for working White House journalists should never be weaponized. Weaponized? He pushed a girl and they took it away. Look at that. Fox News stands with CNN. Give me a break. You can stand with CNN all you want. Stand with them now. Let's see that. It got worse. Do you remember during the campaign, a phony baloney story that never should have been published? The Atlantic magazine alleged that Donald Trump, in a cemetery, called the war dead losers and suckers. Now, if you go through the story, it's not worth the paper it's written on. You can't have a story of that potential impact as thinly sourced as they had it. I think we could never do anything like that. No way. Zero chance. Who backed them up? Right away, within hours.
My sources include two senior former Trump administration officials who were on the trip to France where these remarks allegedly were made. They confirmed key parts of the Atlantic article and certainly described a pattern of behavior by the president in describing war veterans and wounded warriors that coincides with the description in the Atlantic article.
This happens a lot in journalism. You know, somebody has a big article. Make one phone call. Yeah, everything in the story is true, right? Everything is story. You don't have to cite them anymore. I did it. It's good. It's good. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. But that gave the conservative media imprint on the story, and they ran with it. Wow.
When you hear these remarks, suckers, losers, recoiling from amputees, what does it tell you about President Trump's soul and the life he leads?
The mainstream media was able to, look, everybody's behind this story. What does it tell you about the president's soul? But my personal favorite, or my least favorite, is Wallace, Chris Wallace. Now, the fact that he was not fired by Fox News the moment after that debate, that second debate in the fall of 2020 was over, that tells you about how fair and balanced Fox News is. This guy did everything he could to hurt Trump and help Biden.
He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why was he given tens of millions of dollars?
But he wasn't given tens of millions of dollars. That is totally discredited.
We've already been
totally discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a judgment call here.
Gets $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow.
That is not true. That report is totally discredited. Mitt Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers' money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
You know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
Okay.
And that was it. Donald Trump had the moment to score some real points. Biden corruption, according to Fox News, was somehow off the table as an issue? You got to be kidding me. And then for another year plus, Chris Wallace made what, another $6, $7, $8 million, however much he gets paid on that show, even though the viewers despised him? Why would they do that? It's contempt for the audience. It's contempt for the country. Well, a few changes have finally been made, and I hear Chris is never happier.
The more people see of the world, the more likely they are to be better people.
This is CNN Plus.
Good for you, Wallace. Well, this is Newsmax, and we may not have the budget of CNN Plus or Fox News, or we may not have the fancy lights, but we got the heart.